What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today is July the 1st. Happy Canada Day to all the Canadians out there. But I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is really doing this morning. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data points, we do have a couple big ones. Manufacturing, Jolt numbers, both coming out at 9 a.m. That is going to be a fairly big deal for the market. Both have really shown that they can really move the market. And plus, Powell is speaking at 8:30. And then, of course, kind of bringing Powell up, he did mention that it is going to be the labor data that is going to justify future rate cuts, not inflationary. So starting off with Jolt numbers today is going to be a big deal, and people are going to be correlating that with potentially future interest rate cuts. So again, it's going to be a very volatile time, and you can see from the overall volume so far this morning is big money is kind of waiting. They're waiting for these numbers to justify either the next leg up or potentially a little bit more of a consolidated pullback. So today's going to be a fairly fun day, but futures are somewhat flat for the most part. Dow is, it's flat. S&P is down 0.17, NASDAQ down 0.15. So you can kind of see right here, again, further kind of justifying that big money is just waiting. There's not really any substantial moves or anything along those lines. Aside from that though, getting right to it, SoFi is down 0.66%. Again, I think just majority of stocks are very overdone, very overbought. So whenever you're not getting that bump up in volume, you're going to have consolidation, you're going to have pullback, because a lot of these stocks that I kind of talk on a daily basis, such as SoFi, yes, they have a good fundamental growth aspect to their operations, but there is a lot of stocks that are speculative in nature, and they do need a constant inflow of capital. As soon as you take out that capital, you're going to have pullback. So that's what's happening with SoFi. So it's just kind of, long story short, piggybacking off the broader market. 13.78% of the free float is being shorted. What was rather odd yesterday is shorts did increase roughly around 1.4 million by the end of the day. So for whatever reason, they felt justified to double down, even though they've been losing a ton of money. So when it comes down to the data today, anticipate shorts to be fairly active as a byproduct. So if the data is negative, anticipate shorts to increase another 1 million at least today. So something to keep in mind. Stay tuned for my dedicated SoFi video after the market does close. Aside from that, with at 18.12 during the pre-market, it is trading between this R2 and this R1. 17.54 is going to be a strong support. Even if we do have negative data, I don't really see that being potentially touched, even worst case scenario. But aside from that, 1822 is going to be a key pivot, and then 1932 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Moving on, Tesla is getting hit quite hard, and they do actually have their numbers that they'll be putting out tomorrow. So that could also be more of a precursor on last minute jitters associated to that. But in reality, market is punishing Tesla because Elon is again dabbling and doing his interesting comments regarding politics. So yeah, it's interesting. And plus, I've already saw so far this morning, somehow I guess Trump was asked about deporting Elon, and he said that he doesn't know, he'd think about it. So it's a interesting scenario. It's a drama filled market. But aside from that though, that's pretty much what is moving Tesla. Shorts, on the other hand, they are increasing roughly around 91,000 shares during the pre-market. Normally that does not happen with Tesla. So again, goes to show that maybe today it is really going to get hit quite significantly. Of course, it's not a squeeze play. Just wanted to say that out there, because only 2.74% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 76.85 million shares. What I mean is that normally shorts don't increase during the pre-market, 91,000 shares. They're normally dormant. So by them increasing, that might be kind of just some expectations on what to happen today. With it right now at 298, it is trading currently between this S2 and this S3. So 292 is a strong support. You'll really want to watch for that to hold. hold, and then 308 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And we've seen with Tesla what him dabbling with politics and getting ingrained in that does do to the stock price. So for those of you that believe in Tesla, bigger picture, today is going to be a pretty good deal, but I do feel also at the same time there's going to be a certain level of hesitation. Even Deutsch did mention yesterday they remain optimistic and bullish on Tesla, but they do feel like their Q2 numbers, which is going to be released tomorrow, is going to be a flop. So again, something to keep in mind and might potentially hold people back from buying the Tesla dip, if that kind of makes sense. Moving on, ticker is PRGS, so Progress Software Corp. And they actually just put out their numbers. They raised guidance, hit a home run, but they're going down 3.73%. So it's one of those kind of weird types of scenarios. So I think that this one, assuming if we do get good data, is going to get bought up. So for those of you that are day traders, swing traders, this one might be for you. As far as it being heavily shorted, shorts are increasing so far during the pre-market, 43,000 shares, but 12.98% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 5.53 million shares. Right now with at 61 and change, it is trading currently between this R1 and the pivot. So 61.40 will be a strong support, followed by 59.94, and then 62.87, and then 63.77 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. In my opinion, like I said, it might continue to go down a little bit leading into market open. So if you're looking at buying, maybe that 61.40 or potentially somewhere in between these 2 points, so this pivot and this S1. But logically, like I said, they hit a home run, raised future guidance. Maybe it wasn't as high as what people were anticipating, which is just an expectations issue, but I do feel it will most likely recover back to this R1, 62.87. But again, it's all going to come down to the data. So manufacturing, and also the jolt numbers. Moving on, ticker is Wolf, I guess, Wolfspeed. It is up 85%. And so this one has been clearly not going according to plan. It is down 98.23%. And the reason why it is getting some good volume after hours is because of a restructuring plan. And so technically they are heading down the bankruptcy route. And so restructuring is the first step. And I've actually brought things up. I actually was asked about this on my Patreon. And so I kind of commented saying that usually every stock that goes somewhat belly up always has a initial pump due to a restructuring plan. Most of the time that restructuring plan does not hold, and it does continue down the route to full-on bankruptcy. So right now, obviously the restructuring plan is the trustee speaking with a lot of the creditors to try to have some sort of deal so that the creditors can be appeased and get a certain payment, which is beneficial to them. But again, as I mentioned, it happened with Fisker and many others that you have this type of pump that is short-lived. So I feel like a lot of people are going to catch on, liquidate, but at the same time, you're going to have a lot of individuals out there saying that, hey, you need to buy this now. So just be cautious about the influencers out there, because there's going to be a lot of people saying that this is a squeeze play when in reality, shorts are really betting that they are going to go belly up. And like I said, sometimes restructuring plans do work. I feel like there's a good 15-20% likelihood that they do actually work, but most of the time it's usually kind of falls through within the first week. Keep that in mind. So we won't find out straight away that, hey, the plan failed, but it usually over the 1 week span, it just says that clearly they were unable to come to some concrete deal, blah, blah, blah. But 47.44% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 73.18 million shares. So again, because of this, a lot of influencers, I'm sure on social media, Twitter and whatever, are going to say, hey, this is a squeeze play. You need to get in now and you're going to be a millionaire. So just be cautious. If you're a riskier investor, then yeah, have at it. But in my opinion, just wanted to kind of let you know about that. If you are wanting to buy right now with that 75.90, it actually did pull back to this S1. So during the pre-market, or I guess after hours yesterday, it did have a high of $1.35, I believe it was. So it does have a lot of good opportunity to move higher. Currently it's sitting on this S1. So if that does fail to hold, then yeah, all hell and Armageddon is going to follow this stock. But in theory, $2.27 is going to be the next strong target / resistance point. So if for whatever reason we have good data, influencers get a lot of new buyers in, you could see a pretty good return. So just do your own due diligence with this one. And then Robinhood is honestly one of those stocks. It is a beast of a stock. Very interesting concept about the token type of scenario. It does really push for that 24/7 type of trading. So I don't know if those exchanges, so NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange, are still going to be pushing for 24-hour trading. But Robinhood, through the tokenization type of thing, that's, yeah, it's interesting. I do believe that's only for Europe right now though, but still, if it's a success there, I'm sure it can be easily rolled over to other regions. But yeah, it's a pretty big deal. It's interesting. But 3.97% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 30.08 million shares. So shorts have actually increased a little bit. So not a squeeze play again. I just wanted to kind of clear the air for that, but it's good to analyze what shorts are doing. So shorts increasing from the low of looks like 1.9%. It goes to show that they feel like Robinhood shouldn't be at these levels. But then again, if you kind of look at the multiple, it's being at 72.86 for the PE. It is very high, but Robinhood is a massive innovator in the market, and I feel like a lot of big money is just going to be gravitating towards that. Let me know your viewpoint on that, if you kind of agree or you disagree. Right now with that 96 and change, it is trading between this R3 and this R2. So 92.16 is going to be a strong support. Then 103 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And in theory, $100 is always a big psychological barrier. So I would add another resistance point probably in between that. So just to keep that in mind. So let me know your thoughts on these stocks. What stocks are you watching today or buying? Or do you own any of the stocks I kind of mentioned? If so, let me know in the comments below. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I do give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.